Hi, greetings from South Queensferry, just outside Edinburgh. I'm Norman Lamont, and I decided tonight to do something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, because I'd seen some other songwriters do that at a songwriting night. So we'll start with something old from the first album that I made in 2004. This is called New Eyes. I'm just going to take these headphones off because I don't need them now. Right. It's a sunny day, but the sky is grey. Nothing really in the weather. I'm still missing you, but that's nothing new. In fact, I think it might be about to change. I keep on catching glimpses, the way the sunlight falls on things. I keep on catching something new. When I think of how you see new eyes, made for the sunrise. New eyes, made for the sunrise. Now I'm scribbling books with my scribbled looks, all the things I took for granted. There's a cup of tea, there's my old TV, there's a pair of shoes in the corner. Why can't I keep on looking till the sun no longer shines? I keep on catching something new when I think of how you see new eyes, made for the sunrise. New eyes, made for the sunrise. New eyes, made for the sunrise. She left a canvas at my house. She left a lot of things. This was some kind of unfinished landscape. One afternoon, nursing the wounds on my skin where she'd torn herself away, I picked up the landscape, ran my fingers across the surface, rough and firm. And I could feel something underneath. So I picked up a tiny silver knife and cut it open. Very strange. A pair of eyes, blue-grey like hers, glistening and clearly still alive. I pressed them into my sockets, dry and empty from nights of tears. Felt pretty weird at first, but gradually over days, blinking in the sunshine, came a new world of form and line, of shape and shadow, of contour and color, like a conversation unheard by the old eyes. The way a book lay on a desk, the way a tree leaned in the wind like something true, that had been true forever, true forever, true forever, true forever, true forever. Why can't I keep on looking till the sun no longer shines? I keep on catching something new when I think of how you see new eyes made for the sunrise. New eyes made for the sunrise. New eyes made for the sunrise, made for the sunrise. New eyes, new eyes. Oh, that was New Eyes from an album called The Wolf Who Snared the Moon. A long time ago, 2004, maybe 2024. We should revive it or something. That was something old. Here's something new. It's first time in public for this one. Last year, with my friend Jerry, I did a bit of this February album month where you're supposed to write an album in a month. Well, I managed 3 songs, which is a lot for me in a month. And this is one, and I haven't really done much with it since then, but I think it's worth persevering with. It's called I Used to Pray. I used to pray, I used to tell him all the things I couldn't say. My friend, at the end of the day, I used to bow my head and ask for mercy. I used to go down all the way. I used to look for signs in everyday things to show me I was okay. But now I put these foolish things behind me. I've got back the respect I've lost. My life is free from fairy tales and magic, but I know the cost. Oh, I used to pray, used to tell him all the things I couldn't say. My friend, at the end of the day, but they've taken my Jesus away. I used to pray, used to tell him all the things I couldn't say. My friend, at the end of the day, but they've taken my Jesus away. My friends all tell me to grow up. My friends say don't be naive. They say I just want 2 and 2 to make 5. That's what it is to believe. Some people think that they invented thinking. They look down on the superstitious sheep. Some people get their answers on Facebook, but their questions don't go down too deep. I used to pray, I used to tell him all the things I couldn't say. My friend, at the end of the day, but they've taken my Jesus away. Now I put these foolish things behind me, and I got back the respect I've lost. My life is free from fairy tales and magic, oh, but I know the cost. I used to pray, I used to tell him all the things I couldn't say. He was my friend at the end of the day, but they've taken my Jesus away. They've taken my Jesus away. They've taken my Jesus away. Well, I wondered how I was going to end it. That's not. That song's not an attack on atheists, of which I'm one. It's more an attack on atheists who treat others like morons, and there's plenty of those on Facebook. So that's something old, something new, and now I'd like to do something I've borrowed from a good friend of mine for many years who passed away a couple of weeks ago, and he was the songwriter who made me want to write songs and made me think that I could by having me in his band, even though I was useless. His name is David Christopher, and a friend and I are compiling as much of Dave's songs as we can on a Bandcamp site. But there were many that are very old and that were never recorded. This is one. This dates from the 70s when I first met him. And it's strange because after he died, I knew that there was this song that I really liked. I couldn't remember the title or the words. I just knew it had an intro in G minor. And I thought, it's such a shame I never had a recording of that. And then the next day, I suddenly remembered the title. I thought, oh, so what if I kind of sing that title with the G minor? And that led me to remember the beginning of the song. And I got all the way through to the first verse, the end of the first verse, and nothing after that. Just couldn't remember it. And 2 days later, I thought, I wonder if any more of that song will come if I sit down and play it. And it did. And then a day or two after that, a second verse, and I had the whole song. So it's been a strange process. I hope you think it's worth it. It's a lovely song by Dave Christopher called So Many Pictures. So many pictures hang on the wall, so many signposts to nowhere at all. 1,000 books I never could read in my life. If I wanted, 2 or 3 days go by, and I am sad and don't know why. Don't I belong? A gypsy notion born in my blood, goes to my head and my brain begins to bleed. Feelings I could never deny in my life. If I wanted, 2 or 3 days go by, and I am sad and don't know why. Don't I belong? If I wanted, 2 or 3 days go by, and I am sad and don't know why. Don't I belong? Don't I belong? Don't I belong? Dave Christopher, great songwriter. Okay, so something old, something new, something borrowed, and I'll finish with something blue, not Submarine Girl, not that kind of blue. But just to say that tomorrow night we have a new person on Home Songs called Becky Hemingway, who is Irish, I believe. She's appearing on this for the first time, and it's a kind of Americana style. So I hope that some of you will be able to stick around to see that. So there is a connection with Dave Christopher and this song as well, because as I mentioned, I played in a band with Dave in the 70s. We rehearsed solidly twice a week for a year, played one gig and split up. But it was a marvelous band, and I learned how to rehearse. I learned a bit about how to arrange harmonies from Dave, who was brilliant at that. Despite the subtlety of the band, I must admit a moment of pride that I always remember was that I left the flat where the band were rehearsing in Buccleuch Street in Glasgow, up near the art school, and got all the way down to Suckyhall Street and a long bit in Suckyhall Street, and I could still hear them. Anyway, we used to do this song, although it had a completely different set of lyrics, because the lyrics then were written by a 21-year-old who knew nothing really. But I always liked the tune, so I kept it and rewrote it much later. And this is it's on an album called Roadblock, and it's a song about a kind of ne'er-do-well. It's called Best of the Blues. And thanks to Dave and Chris for having me on tonight. Well, help me now, Mary. I'm in trouble again. I have sinned with the women. I have strayed with the men. I'd come round to your place, but I just get refused. Making the best of the blues. I know there's nobody out there. Forever, amen. I know there's only the women. The women and the men. I just wanted somebody who wouldn't give me bad news, making the best of the blues. Yeah, yeah. I just know one Mary, and she's a masseuse. I need to call her, got some tension to lose. Well, I'm sitting here in Rose Street, 'cause my legs don't obey. It don't rain in this doorway. Guess I'm lucky that way. And if you think it's a problem, let me tell you whose. I'm just making the best of the blues. Oh. Making the best of the blues. Well, thanks very much for listening. If you like this stuff, go to normanlamont.com and there's lots more of it. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, David Fee, for setting up Home Songs, and we'll see Becky Hemingway tomorrow evening. Thank you. Good night.